Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and I have an aversion to getting FUBAR. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, friend.
Did you bump uglies with my sister?
So good. And joining us is our podcasting brother from another mother, Adam Riske from F This Movie. Hi, friend.
In 1989, you said Pee-wee if someone had a tiny dick.
That was a thing. So many tiny dick jokes. We are dorking out about 1989's Tango and Cash. I'm not even going to mention the director or writer because they don't deserve that. Starring Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell, Jack Palance, Teri Hatcher. Who else we got in here? Michael J. Pollard as someone from a Bond movie who invents shit. I don't understand this movie. Clint Howard's in there.
Yeah, it's like Woody Allen played Q.
Q, that's the character I was trying to remember. Such a weird movie. So, okay, this movie came out in December of 1989 because
of course.
Because it's Oscar bait, right? I'm pretty sure Adam did not see this in a theater because he was just probably a baby. But Margo, did you see it in the theater?
No, I made sure not to.
So I think I saw this in the theater, and that's the only time I've seen it. So it's been a long time. Adam, when did you first see Tango and Cash?
I wanted to see it when it was in theaters, but I remember we went to see Christmas Vacation instead, which is probably a better movie and also a better choice for somebody who's 7.
Yes.
I don't know when I first saw it. I think it was like when I was in my 20s at some point, or like maybe even my 30s. It's not something that I have a long history with. This was maybe my 3rd time seeing it overall, because I remember seeing it before we covered it during a past F This Movie Fest. And then we had it as one of our 5 movies to highlight during F This Movie Fest when we did 1989 as the theme. And then I think this was the 3rd time.
This is as close to a first time watch as we've had on the show in a long time for me. I hardly remembered anything about this movie rewatching it, and I don't even know where to start. Should we start with, should we just go through the movie, like
the plot?
Should we go through the plot, quote unquote?
You know, this movie, yeah. I'll say that I Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell went on Oprah to promote this movie, because if there's the audience for this film,
that doesn't seem.
Well, I think they were both kind of like. Well, I think Stallone thought he was a beefcake, and like Kurt Russell was a beefcake. So like with his hair, they're just like, yeah, we could be on Oprah.
Yeah, and they were the women loved them. I mean, they look great. I mean, this is the best I think either one of them looks. I mean,
true.
Outside of the mullet, I mean, I think they look amazing, and the women loved them. But I was like, and I watched it too. I remember distinctly watching it, but I was like, they showed enough clips during the show. I'm like, I think I got the idea. I don't need to spend money to go to a place to see the 2 hours of this.
How great would it be if they couldn't get Stallone and Russell for Oprah, so Jack Palance filled in for them? I play Yves Perret, and I've got 2 mice that I call Tango and Cash. I put them through a maze.
Who is Juliette Lewis's father? Is like, what's his?
Lewis?
He has like a terrible wig on. Like the hair in this movie is.
Yeah.
Which character is he?
He's the cop that's like kind of their friend and on their side, but can't help them in any way.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
He was in the Stephen King Salem's Lot. He was in the original Salem's Lot. He's Juliette Lewis's father, and he did a ton of character work, and they have him just in the goofiest wig ever.
God. I didn't know that was her dad.
Yeah.
Fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I'm curious if like Stallone and Russell deliberately were like, we got to be the hot ones in this movie, so purposely cast every other male actor as ugly as fuck.
They uglied them up to such an extreme.
That's
like I don't usually do this, but like these are some of the ugliest men I've ever seen.
They're so ugly, and like you said, so that guy's got like a wig on. Someone else is doing like a British accent that is the most horrible accent.
It's Cockney.
It's so bad that even like I could do a better accent, and it's been well established on this show that I can't do accents. Like it's real bad. It's really bad. Everyone in this movie is. What I don't know is this movie supposed to be a spoof of action movies?
No, it was very serious about it. That's what I remember from the interview, and that's what made me laugh. Is Sylvester Stallone was talking about, I really wanted to play a character that was more, wore a suit and had his hair done, and that, and they were very serious. And then he was very upset that there's a girl in the movie, but she's my sister.
Okay, we're definitely gonna talk about that reveal. But there's all these like really terrible one-liners, just constantly terrible one-liners, and then like some that are like inside baseball one-liners, like Rambo's a pussy, and this whole like, do you want to go get a coffee in a Danish? And he's like, I don't like Danish, which I guess is a reference to Bridget Nielsen. I'm like, what is this movie?
I think I'm gonna go overboard with the jokes here.
What is the thing?
He should wear an eye patch in one scene.
The movie, it's so weird. Like, so it opens with like, so it's it's Sylvester Stallone, and he's driving a convertible cop car, because that's a thing. And he like is chasing a truck, and he like a semi truck. He pulls over, he shoots at the truck, and they're like, this guy's crazy, and they stop really sudden, which then they fly out of the windows because I don't know why.
A lot of flying,
and then then the truck's filled with cocaine, or as Jimmy Schmitz and Running Scared would say, my coke. It's filled with coke. And then, it's just like, and he's serious because he's, that Sylvester Stallone's the serious one because he's got glasses on, like he's wearing his serious glasses. And then like Cash is Kurt Russell, and like you could tell that he's not serious because he's wearing a tank top and
a mullet. He's shot Bad Ronald style, like, right away.
The second appearance of Bad Ronald here on the show.
The second reference on the show. We have to cover it one day. But yeah, he's shot in his apartment, like definitely like right through the shoulder. And he's just kind of like, oh, man. Ugh. And then he just tangles with this guy. I mean, I have a lot of questions about, do the writers know anything about police work or the legal system, or how prisons work? Because it's like a Madonna video when they actually go to the. We'll go to that. We'll get to that.
Can I
don't hope for a second best?
Popular opinion about this movie?
Yes.
I think that. So I heard once that you don't judge the talent or the power of a movie star by them in a good movie. You judge it by them in a bad movie.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I think that Stallone and Kurt Russell, even though this movie's not good in quotes, drag this movie to more success than it has any right to. Because I think Stallone is having fun, and it's almost twice as fun for me because he thinks he's funny, but he's not funny at all. And I think his character liked to be kind of this like metrosexual guy, like is sort of amusing. And then like Kurt Russell's just playing like Martin Riggs, which he can do in his sleep. And I almost think that it's like him trying to make up for the fact that he turned down playing Martin Riggs in Lethal Weapon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I just think that like the movie gets along pretty far on their charm. And
for sure.
they're clearly in on the joke. It's like they must know how terrible this script is. And I don't know. I mean, like, I think the movie's terrible, but I could watch it like once every couple of years.
I'm making fun of it, but I do find it enjoyable as well because I find them enjoyable. I do kind of like the meta thing that I think that Sylvester Stallone really, really thinks he's playing against type because he's in a nice suit.
Yes.
And a decent haircut and he's wearing the glasses, of course, and he's telling terrible jokes. But yeah, you're right. He is having a good time. You could tell. And you could tell he and Kurt Russell get along. And I think like just Kurt Russell is sort of like, he's always going to work. He's always going to do his best.
Yeah.
I agree. I am a fan of any movie that shares all of its plot points via newspapers. Like everything
spinning newspapers,
spinning newspapers with giant photos of them because people are like, yeah, I totally need to see what these cops look like. They're like huge, like model shots of them on the front page of these papers that tell you that that they're heroes, that they've been arrested, that they're going to jail. Like everything is in the paper.
Yeah, and like all the headlines are kind of like, say it ain't so, Tango and Cash.
I think they have the same scene in Batman that year. I think it is a way to kind of move the plot along.
It's the same producers. It's John Peters and Peter Cooper.
Yeah.
And funnier this time than I didn't like think of this the other two times I saw the movie. But in the movie Licorice Pizza, Bradley Cooper plays John Peters, and he's a coked out maniac. And then John Peters is the producer of Tango and Cash. And I'm just like, this all tracks. This weird.
It's just this movie. So the one-liners are so groan inducing. We also get some unnecessary TNA, which is so 80s to me. Like there's a parking garage like car chase, and there just happens to be a couple that's like fucking in a car, and she like sits up so that we could see her boobs, and I'm like, phew, at least we get to see some boobs. And then I wondered, like, is the whole movie just written so that they can make jokes about the name Tango? Because it's like he dances in and he takes my drugs and then he tangos away, and I'm like, oh dear. All the jokes about Tango and Cash, all the puns. And by the way, I'm the biggest pun fan in the world, and even I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot.
I think the villains in this movie are so funny because, like, there's three villains who are kind of like, if they were in the mafia, they're heads of their own families.
Yes.
But Jack Palance is like the numero uno. But he's always convincing the other two guys. He's like, it's not that big of a deal. We only lost like $90 million. He's just like, I've got this long range plan to put Tango and Cash in prison for 18 months. We'll have one good year. We'll make up the money. He's almost like remarkably patient about it.
I love it. The court scenes are great. I mean, they get set up to go to jail, to go to prison, and they show up, and of course it's the scene to see them walking bare ass, and they look great. I mean, but
I love that they do their trial together, by the way.
Yes,
like
exactly.
They're tried together. Like they go to jail together.
And then Kurt Russell stands up and says, "This is fucked up." And then the crowd's like,
yeah, it's fucked up.
They get sent to the pokey, and they're doing that scene where they're carrying their shit, and everybody is in the prison is screaming and yelling because it's two cops that's going to be in with the general population. It's not enough that they're screaming and yelling, and one guy seriously yells, just, "Cops, bring them to me!" They have to have fires everywhere, like it's a Madonna or a Tina Turner video. It's so hilarious. And they keep
yelling,
walking and walking and walking. Cops! And they keep walking and walking. It's like that sequence goes on forever.
Yeah, and it's like they gave like every inmate like a ream of paper to throw, and it's just like
and
set
matches.
the paper on fire before you throw it.
Cops!
Cops! And he breaks his jaw. And then Kurt Russell's in the prison. He's, of course, there's a huge black man in his cell that I did laugh when he was like, he was on the bottom bunk and it was like completely squishing him.
I love their roommate troubles in the cell.
Yes.
It's like, you can't use my toilet, and then like he snores and he farts in his sleep and all. And then Clint Howard, he has a slinky. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he have a slinky? It could not be a weapon. And Stallone, wraps him up in it. It's so ridiculous. We have to talk about that shower scene. First of all, you get to see their butts, and I'm like, that's great. I'm fine with that. But it's just like a million tiny dick jokes in like a 5-minute span. Yeah, calling someone Pee-wee. There's a joke about Kurt Russell's testicles not dropping or something in there.
The other one will drop, just one dropped. Yeah.
It's a soap joke.
Yeah, a soap joke, of course. So many penis jokes, which normally, once again, I'm fine with.
But it's a little much. Yeah, that sequence in the prison, it's like they don't know what jails are. But they get kidnapped from the prison, in the prison, and then they're brought to a basement where there's steam everywhere. And then they're going to boil them. They have them tied up, Hannibal Lecter style. And then they're going to dip them in water and then add electricity. And then there's so much yelling in this movie. Kurt Russell just goes, ah!
It's just, once again, like, it takes the prison guards like a really long time to notice that almost all of the prison is down here in the basement, apparently.
Right.
Jack Palance, for some reason, is actually like hanging out in the prison with his, like, the guy with the horrible British accent. And then I'm like, why isn't he just killing them? No, there's this whole thing about hanging them and dipping them in water and electrocuting them. And it's very James Bond.
Yes.
And we also have to talk about Jack Palance, the fact that he just randomly keeps mice in a box on his desk.
Is there holes in that thing? Like, are these mice okay? I don't think so.
Yeah. They'll be like rats in a maze. And then he puts rats in a maze. Do you guys get it?
He needs to like shove them into the maze. Like they don't want to go in the maze, which is even funny.
I kept waiting for there to be a reason for the rats. Like he's got a snake that he feeds or something. But no, he just super loves rats, I guess. They're his pets. Yeah. That's his thing.
It's his kink.
That's his kink. We don't want to kink shame here. If that's his thing, that's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, he's putting them away for 18 months. They get out and then they're on the run.
Yes.
And on the run means that they're not disguising themselves. They're kind of just going around, and Kurt Russell gets to the bar, and this gigantic bar where there's a couple with a motorcycle like dancing. And then they hop on the motorcycle. And then Teri Hatcher comes out. I keep saying Terry Garr in my head, which would be amazing if it were Terry Garr, but it's the other Terry, which she's fine. She's great. And she was a 49ers cheerleader.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she was part of the Gold Rush. So she's a good dancer. And
yeah, go ahead.
I forgot her Sheila E. part.
I totally forgot about that. This was some flash dance shit here. Like a huge fan.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?
It was weird because, like, yeah, she's doing like sort of a like clothes on striptease thing, but then it's mixed with like a Sheila E. drum solo. And I remember like seeing the movie, I was just like, this doesn't happen in real life. And then I went to a club and I saw something almost exactly like this. I'm like, this is in real life.
A Tango and Cash in real life? Like somebody was inspired?
It was like at this club called Bamboo Room, and it was in the middle of like the Chicago suburbs in a strip mall. And then like out of nowhere, they're playing like techno music, and then like this, like all these women are just like drumming along with the techno music, and I'm like, this is like Teri Hatcher and Tango and Cash. love how Teri Hatcher has a poster of herself. in this
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
I noticed that too. Who doesn't? Who doesn't have a huge photo of themselves up on the wall like that?
Mhm.
So
But
so
I
normal.
did like that scene when Kurt Russell's in the dressing room and so he says, "Hey, Elvis, what size are you?" And of course I thought, oh, he's going to wear the Elvis gear because he played Elvis in a movie.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, they're doing that thing. But they give it to Teri Hatcher, who obviously isn't Kurt Russell. Like, she's
Yeah.
tinier than him, but the
Right.
cops are. But then they put Kurt Russell in a dress. He has great legs, by the way.
He looks really good in that dress.
He looks really good in that dress, but wow, that face work, that was not thought out. But then the cop is like, "You want a threesome?"
I do like that they both flick their cigarettes at him at the same time.
Yeah.
That was pretty
funny.
good. But cops are so gross.
He's dressed as a woman to like give the slip out of the club and like just get on the motorcycle. But the thing that I don't understand is, why did he decide to apply lipstick too?
Yeah.
Some
It's like
eyelashes.
He didn't need to like go all out. He did.
He's into it. Once again, we don't kink shame here.
Right.
I
No,
don't
he looks
think-
great. He was used to heels.
I'm just talking about
Yeah.
like, if you're trying to be incognito, like you just all you have to do is sneak out the back, get on the
Yeah.
motorcycle, and he's like, I put on lipstick. I have to look back at the cop and like.
Yeah, I was like, yes, he makes a big scene. He makes a big scene. He draws attention to himself.
Do you think they created Tu Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar, after the scene?
Yes.
Like, they were like, what if it were Wesley Snipes and Patrick Swayze?
Yes.
Hear me out.
Well, Patrick Swayze was supposed to play Cash.
Yes, right.
And he did to do Roadhouse. So maybe Patrick Swayze saw that scene in Tango and Cash and was just like,
Mhm.
I need my own that, and that's how Tu Wong Fu happened.
Maybe.
I think you're right.
Also, I think Roadhouse is a better movie.
He made the right choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I watched Roadhouse last year and I was like, this movie is bananas and I love it. I love that movie. So Kurt Russell leaves the club with Teri Hatcher and they go back to her place. And there's this super awkward scene where she's like rubbing his back and they try to make it look like they're fucking. And
Right.
Stallone walks in and thinks they're fucking. And he doesn't turn around and leave. He stays and gawks and like rubs his eyes. And is like, what? Like,
Is that my
sister,
Pumpin' Uglies?
Uglies, yeah. Oh my god,
and
that's one of my like Stallone's euphemisms for sex in
Yes.
movies is some of my favorite things ever. Because like I remember in Demolition Man, he's just like the horizontal mambo, the hump.
Are you playing hide the salami with my sister?
The hunk chunk is my favorite.
It's so and at this point we don't know that that's his sister, right? They have not revealed that that's his sister, and so he's hanging out watching them. He thinks they're fucking and he's watching them, which is gross. And then he sees like a man through like a screen door or whatever, and he like runs and he like pushes the screen door and he lands on top of his boss. And this is like the biggest pun in the movie. It's like, is this the way you screen all your guests? Like, hashtag dad jokes. Like, it's so ridiculous. I love it.
It's ridiculous. Okay, can you explain the plot to me?
Nope.
Like, okay, because I really don't have any idea like how anything is supposed to work. I just know who the bad guys are,
Yeah.
which is everybody. Because the cops suck.
Yeah.
The lawyers suck. Tango and Cash are terrible people. I mean, they're just what about the part where they take the Cockney guy and then they hang him from the roof?
Bloody
just
hell,
laughing
you
at
hung
them.
me from the roof. That's my accent. It's just as good as his.
I love you from here. Then they put the grenade in his mouth. Like they're gonna, like they have a lot of props with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. They're violating his rights. I love it.
Yeah.
And
Which
then,
comes in later because he blows him up via hand grenade. And they just kind of, whoop, there you go. I'm like, wouldn't that be a real fucking mess to deal with?
so
I mean,
yeah.
ugh,
And then
I'm
they
thinking
go.
too much.
No, you're fine. Then they go see Q, and
Yes.
and he's like, "Hey, I have like this RV from hell or whatever." And then like he gives him like shotgun cowboy boots at some point, and I was like, "What the fuck is this movie?" I love it.
What is it? He calls it a caravan from hell or a
I don't know. It's some sort of
something or other
some
from
sort
hell.
of
That, 'cause
some sort of recreational vehicle from hell.
because that's like very 1989, like that
Mhm.
Richard Lewis joke about
Yes.
everything from hell. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And they take off in this, and it's this machine, and there's like Michael J. Pollard is talking to them as their driver, like, "We got insurance. I know
Yeah.
this is your only one. We will put a scratch on it," which,
Mhm.
of course, that means they're
Where'd
gonna
you
have it
learn to
destroyed.
drive, Stevie Wonder? Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a movie that exists.
Yeah. I can't be too hard on Tango and Cash because Hobbs and Shaw sucks so much ass. The Tango and Cash. So, I mean, there's a way of doing this kind of thing right, and there's a way of not. And I don't know. I wrote something on Twitter after watching this last night where I just miss the era when like movies were made by lunatics and
Yeah.
what this is, and it's kind of charming in that regard.
Is Hobbs and Shaw worse than this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I didn't see Hobbs and Shaw, so.
What's Hobbs and Shaw?
Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. It was two of their characters from the Fast and Furious franchise, and they got a spin-off. And it's clearly meant to be like a buddy, action movie, and it's just dead on arrival. It's so boring, and like the one-liners are somehow even worse than the ones in Tango and Cash. Like this stuff is like it was written by like William Goldman compared to
this. So they're going to get Jack Palance, who I guess his evil lair is in a quarry of some sort, and
it's a military base or an Air Force base that's like been abandoned, but they like left all the equipment and like tractors and weird shit there.
Yeah, and he has a room where there's like a shit ton of mirrors.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? Is that like his maze for himself? Like he puts his rats in a maze and then he puts himself in a maze, sees to get out first. I don't know. Once again, we don't kink shame here, but
No, I think it's just what he does in his downtime.
yeah. And then we have, because it's the 80s, Teri Hatcher like got kidnapped at some point, and now they're holding her hostage and they have to save her. And they save her like 3 times, I think.
It's a long sequence of multiple punching of each other and shootings, and literally you hear over and over and
Cops!
over. I put a clip of that. I'll put it on TikTok. It just made me laugh stupid hard. It's just a lot of like, everybody was kung fu fighting. Everyone was just, shooting the shit out of each other, and it's kind of great.
Is it?
I mean, look, if I have to find something to say, I mean, it's stupid, but I was entertained by it. I mean, it's very dumb. I didn't see this because I'd already seen Lethal Weapon. I'd already seen, it seemed like a cheap version of that. But I'm with Adam. I kind of miss those things. I mean, I think, I don't know. They didn't have social media back then. You just put a movie together with a bunch of cocaine and, and power agents.
Like Running Scared.
Yeah, like power agents and shit like that, and that they just kind of, you have Entertainment Tonight show up for the, when you're filming, you go on Oprah and promote it. I get it. I'm sure they were on the cover of like Entertainment Weekly or whatever was around back
For
then,
sure.
Premiere, whatever it was. Yeah.
Who do you think is the number one cop, Stallone or Tango or Cash?
Which one is which? Is
Tango is
that's
Stallone and Cash is Kurt Russell.
okay. I had them switched because, well, so Tango is the one. Where does Tango get his money? Because he can afford really nice suits
He's
He's,
in
uh,
on the
stocks.
cop salary.
He trades
Ah.
stocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
They actually
Of
make a
course he
point
does.
to say, like, you don't need the money. Why are you doing this? And
And he says for laughs and for the action.
yeah, for the action.
Mm.
I think Tango is the number one cop and Cash is the number two because Tango just has like a regular gun, but Cash has like basically a handgun with like a laser sight on top of it. So
Yes.
he needs like the extra. He needs that extra bit of help.
Yeah.
So that's
But Cash gets shot like several times in this movie.
He's careless.
Keeps going.
He's careless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, but
He
he
takes-
also
Tango
he
at one
takes a
point.
licking. Yes, he takes a licking, but keeps on ticking. You can't stop him.
I love a movie that ends on a freeze frame. Like they
Yes.
high five. They high five because Catherine's like, "Come on, just admit it. You love each other. You love each
Yep.
other." And then they
And
high
she's
five.
not wrong.
She's not wrong.
And it's Anthem by the band Bad English.
Well,
Which-
it freeze frames on their high five, and then my favorite, it turns into a newspaper. Yes.
Top cops again.
Woo! They're heroes again. Yeah.
Who was in Bad English? It was Neil Schon and what's his name? British guy.
Mm.
The missing you guy.
Oh, John Waite.
Waite?
John
Yeah.
Waite. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah,
They
everyone
did
everyone
cover
knows
ballads.
everyone knows that anthem. I don't remember. I don't even think that. You know why I didn't see this? It didn't play at my theater. That's why I didn't see it over
Yeah.
and over. It must have played at one of the other theaters.
It is an
Yeah.
odd time to release this kind of movie. I mean,
Yeah.
doesn't it have like summer written all over
It
it?
totally does.
I mean, they weren't going to get any Oscar noms.
No. Maybe it got delayed and they were like, this doesn't feel like the 90s at all. We have to cram it into the last.
Right.
Good point.
Or counter programming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely did not run out and see it.
No.
What else should we do? I'm going through all my notes. I took so many notes. Lots of abusing of witnesses. Cash sitting on a guy on a chair on his neck, violating his rights.
Yeah. Yeah. The racial themes are not great here. It's toxic
Yeah.
white male masculinity.
Yeah, there's a
Just-
whole thing about how he wants to be killed by an American, not an immigrant. I'm like, oh,
an
brother.
English guy, an English person, by the way.
Such an asshole.
Sublime, which nobody ever says.
I just, once again, those one-liners, I wrote another one in here where how they just reach for these one-liners. So Tango goes to one of the crooked cops and he interrupts him while he's eating or something. He's taking pasta out of the fridge and he's like, from the look of your diet, you're not too interested in counting calories. Could it be that you were too busy counting the money you received for setting us up? I'm like, that's a long way for a joke, Tango.
For fat shaming joke.
For a fat shaming joke. Oh my gosh. What else do we want to say about Tango and Cash? Don't everyone
what?
speak at once.
I like the poster. That's about it.
I know Margo.
I have-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I have this on a 4-movie Sylvester Stallone collection DVD with Demolition Man, The Specialist, and Over the Top.
Mm.
I could totally watch all 4 of those back to back to back to back.
I think Demolition Man might be the best one in that one.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister and I were talking about something recently, and I said that I said that Over the Top was an arm wrestling movie, and she did not believe me and was convinced I was making it up. And I was like, no, that is a movie that exists. Over the Top is the arm wrestling movie, yes.
Stallone was like one movie away from doing like a scooter tag drama. He was trying stuff.
He really was.
Yeah. I don't know if this story is true or not, but have you ever heard about how he ended up doing Stop or My Mom Will Shoot?
No, tell me it's based on a true story.
It's pretty great. So Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone had a huge rivalry, and Schwarzenegger would do things to fuck with Stallone. So he told his agents to kind of make the word go out that Schwarzenegger really wanted to do Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, like really, really bad. And Stallone was just like, well, fuck him. I'm going to get it. I'm getting it first. So Stallone was like, all right, good. I got Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. And then Schwarzenegger just started laughing that he tricked him into doing Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Of the two, I would say Schwarzenegger is smarter.
Yeah, I mean, especially at that time, he was kind of he hadn't hit like his pinnacle yet, and Stallone I think Stallone's high point was like that mid 80s thing, and like he was kind of trying to stay on top at the time of Tango Cash.
Mm-hmm.
Where Schwarzenegger hadn't yet had like Total Recall and Terminator 2 and stuff yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Margo, what do you think about Stallone, about Tango's like gatekeeping of his sister having sex? I know that's like one of your favorite things that you love to point out in movies.
He constantly is asking, did you bump uglies? Did you have sex? No, but seriously, tell me if you fucked my sister. I need to know this. And she's what, 27, 30? Like, how old is she?
Yes.
I mean, she's obviously sex positive if she, what she does for a living. She's a sexy dancer.
Mm-hmm. But it's his business.
It's that very old school Italian, paternalistic way of looking at women.
Right.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Your favorite.
89 wasn't great. Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to hear about the other movies that came out in December 1989?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
Which Adam saw. Everyone loves this movie way more than me, but that's okay.
Seen it enough where like I don't laugh at anything anymore, but I think it's like entertaining. I could totally watch it.
I get it. I wish I liked it because everyone loves it. I'm like, I want to be a part of the party. She-Devil.
I kind of like She-Devil.
I don't remember.
I haven't seen it since the theater, but the idea that Roseanne Barr and Meryl Streep would fight over Ed Begley Jr. seems wrong.
Yeah.
War of the Roses.
Great movie.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one. I think that one's on our list. Blaze.
Never seen it.
Did you see that?
Is that the Paul Newman movie?
Yes.
Yeah, Lolita Davidovich?
Yes.
Yeah, not great.
I remember seeing it because it was written by the same guy who did Bull Durham, and I loved Bull Durham so much at the time.
See, I love Paul Newman.
Yeah.
So I would see just about anything with him in it.
I have that on one of the most random DVD triple features. It's Nixon, Billy Bathgate, and Blaze.
Wow. Oh my God.
I guess they're all by the same studio. So
I don't even. Yeah, they probably are. Yeah.
That does not make sense to me. Does not sound like a triple feature that goes together.
No.
I'll never forget some kids got busted for sneaking in to see Nixon in the theater because it was rated R. And I was like, oh no, they might learn something. Like, I was like, there's no boobs in there, kids. Sorry. Go back to Ace Ventura 2 or whatever it was you were supposed to see.
Favorite thing about Nixon was my parents had like these two family friends that like when I was growing up, we called them like uncle and aunt and stuff. So like we were at dinner once and like my uncle and my aunt were complaining that they went to see Nixon, but that they left like 3 hours in because
Oh my God.
they said that they're like, we knew going into the movie that it was over 3 hours, but we figured there might be a chance it would end at the 3 hours and we had to get home to pay the sitter. And I'm just like, why would a movie decide to be shorter for you?
Yeah. We were hoping
Like,
the projector would break and the movie would be over.
And it's just like, well, it might end at 9 innings and not go to extras. It's like, that's not how movies work.
No.
No, it's not like they get to Watergate and the lights come up like, all right, does anyone know?
It's like
we
a
can tell you
choose
real
your
quick what
answer.
happens.
Yes.
It's like, do you want to see 30 more minutes or do you want to go straight to the epilogue?
Also this month, Driving Miss Daisy.
That fucking
Never
movie.
seen it.
It's really
Terrible.
boring.
Yeah,
It's really boring.
Glory.
it's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's a good one. We're No Angels.
Never seen
Wait.
it.
Not a great movie.
Mm-mm. The Wizard.
I used to like it.
That one played at my theater, and all I remember about it was one time a couple came in to see the late show of it, and they were the only people in there, and I went in to check the temperature, and they were doing it in the theater. And I didn't want to interrupt, so I just stood in the back and gawked and rubbed my eyes and went, whoa, what? No, I didn't. I turned around and ran out, actually. I was like, I didn't want to interrupt their moment.
It's like Super Mario 3 gets me hot.
I remember telling like one of the other coworkers, like, they're doing it in there, and they were like, well, we'll just stay out of that theater. And, like, we were all so respectful. Like, yeah, sure, there's no one else in there. Knock yourself out. Born on the 4th of July.
It's a really good movie.
That is a good movie. Yeah.
It's a good one. Roger and Me.
Yeah.
Another.
That was
Can't
the first
watch it
Michael
anymore,
Moore movie.
Yeah, I used to like it.
Yeah, I can't.
See,
watch
same.
it.
He's become very obnoxious.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then the last one is Always.
I've never seen it.
It's okay. It's uneven.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it's one of Spielberg's misses, but it's an interesting miss.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Do you want to hear about some songs from '89?
Yes.
Okay. Fine Young Cannibals, She Drives Me Crazy. Couldn't escape that song.
I loved that song.
Pretty good.
Bobby Brown, On Our Own, Ghostbusters 2.
That's a great song.
I was
I
all
love that
in.
song.
I was all in
That was
on Bobby Brown back in the
Such
day.
a good song.
Better song than movie. Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Fact.
Madonna, Like a Prayer. Just
That's a
one
great
of-
song.
Fucking great song.
Love Madonna.
Milli Vanilli, Blame It on the Rain.
Jeez.
Paula Abdul, Straight Up.
I
Great
was
song.
all in on Paula Abdul too.
Loved
I'm
her.
such a big fan.
Janet Jackson, Miss You Much.
Yep. Another
That's a
one.
Song.
Yeah.
And lastly, Nana Cherry, Buffalo Stance.
Ugh.
I disagree. I have that
I
song on a playlist. I, love it.
I like that song. Yeah.
She's no chain in my nose child. I'll tell you that much.
You know what, Adam? I've never liked the song "Smooth" by Santana /
Yeah.
what's his face, but every time I hear it now, I think of you going. "Blah." You were so nauseous.
When did
Just
that
the
happen?
sound of the title.
When did that happen with Smooth? I'm totally not remembering this.
Yeah, it was one of the it was, I forget what year that song came out, but it was one of the, it was from that year. I mentioned the top songs, and that song came out, and you had a very instant reaction to it. So now that's all I hear when I hear that song.
You know what's obnoxious about Smooth besides everything?
Rob Thomas, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
The Santana Michelle Branch song, "The Game of Love," is awesome, and that wasn't a hit. And like Smooth was like hit enough for 10 hits.
Yeah, I like the Michelle Branch one too. Smooth.
Yeah, that's the better one.
Smooth, you couldn't get away from it then, and I feel like I can't get away from it now.
Now, it was played on the pop stations and the rock stations, and now it's played on like adult contemporary station. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, you can't escape it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Once I'm making fun of Matchbox 20 on Twitter, and people got upset with me, and I had to backtrack and be like, fine, I just don't like Rob Thomas. And they're like, well, just say that then. Don't say you don't like Matchbox 20.
They're very, very protective of the other people in the band, huh?
They're like, if it's solo Rob Thomas, fine, but like, careful with what you're saying.
How dare you?
How dare you, sir?
Yeah.
I get Patrick got hassled for saying that he didn't like it was the new Ghostbusters movie that came out this year.
Afterlife.
Afterlife, and so many people were getting on his case, like, how dare you? You don't know what you're talking about. It's like, it's just the opinion.
Yeah.
You know?
I also didn't like that movie.
Things.
Come at me.
No. Yeah.
I actively hated it.
Yeah. I got in trouble maybe I'll get in trouble again because I'm saying this about Ghostbusters Afterlife. But I said, like, if you like Ghostbusters Afterlife, it doesn't mean you're a dumb person. But if you're a dumb person, you definitely like Ghostbusters.
It's just, I think I texted you, Adam, about it because I really, really dislike that movie. It's the worst. And I know my sister's probably listening, and she's like, I liked it, and I'm like, I can't trust you anymore.
Right.
I
can't. I would rather take a bite of a cutting board than watch that movie.
And I like Paul Rudd so much, and like the people in it are fine. It's not their fault. It's just a bad movie. Like, I don't like that story for Egon. It's very upsetting to me. I don't like it. Yeah. And I don't like what they like kind of digging up Harold Ramis. It's not right. Anyway, no. This is not our Ghostbusters Afterlife podcast yet. Adam, where can people find you on the internet?
I write and do podcasts at fthismovie.com. That's the letter F this movie. And then I am on Twitter at Risky Adam.
And everyone should be reading Adam's stuff. It's so great. I haven't watched your most recent reserve seating, but I'm looking forward to it.
That one's, I think, the best one we've done so far. So I'm excited for you to watch it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch.
It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to the F This Movie YouTube channel, you can find it.
I'm looking forward to it. Maybe I'll watch it today.
Thank you.
Margo, where can people find you?
You will find me watching his video, but also you can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick, and my site is brooklynfitchick.com, and TikTok, I'm at Margo Donahue, and I post things about dorking out there.
Yes, you do.
And my cats.
And your cats, the most adorable cats in Brooklyn.
It's a true fact.
It's true. If you like the sound of our voices, and I assume you do, Margo and I also host a podcast called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps of the past and the present, not the future, not yet.
No.
Someday, but not yet. And we're having a really great time. Please join us over there, and you can find me at thesoniashow.com, where I am writing again, and The Sonia Show on Twitter, Instagram, and the TikTok, because I like to ruin things for kids. And if you like dorking out and you want to give us a review somewhere, that would be fabulous. And if you want some stickers or you have a request, you can email us at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com. This was really fun. I'm actually really glad we talked about Tango and Cash. I know that doesn't sound genuine, but it really is. This was really fun.
Cops!